Hi, Dirty Girl here with another vintage sales report video from my eBay and Etsy sales from the month of March 2017. I'm only going to show you the more interesting sales or ones that have a story with them. I made a total of 79 sales on Etsy and about maybe 10 sales on eBay. Most of the eBay sales were like really boring stuff like clothes and stuff that weren't designer and they weren't vintage and they weren't, so I'm not going to show you those. And they didn't sell for a lot or anything. But I will show you the more interesting sales. So I'm going to start with this Westclock's Baby Ben alarm clock. Baby Bens really don't sell for a whole lot, maybe $15 to $20 usually if they're in good condition and working and all that. But this one I thought was kind of special because it had this chrome bezel, and there's a website where you can go to identify your Baby Bens. You can figure out exactly when they were made, what style they are, what the name of the colors are and stuff. But this one was not on the website anywhere. So I thought I would just put it up on eBay and see if it was special. I started it at a price of $28 and that's what it sold for. So it wasn't super special, but it was a little bit special. And I thought it was so pretty. I love the look of it. And I want to show you these because these are fairly common. They're called rice eye pattern, and they have this like transparent windows or translucent windows that are shaped like rice. And I've sold a couple of these before. These I got at the flea market for, well, it was $6 and there was some other stuff with it. So maybe about $5 for this, for these 2 bowls and 2 spoons. And they have, well, now I can't, let's see. The bottom has just characters, Asian characters on it. They don't say China, so I think that means that they're a little older. But they're not real old. Anyway, whatever. They sold for $26 plus shipping. All of my prices are plus shipping, by the way. I always forget to say that. And, those are, you see them, you find them at garage sales and stuff a lot. At least you do around here where there's a lot of, there's a high Asian population. Okay, so here's my little hummingbird Victorian print. I had 2 of these. The other one hasn't sold yet, but this one with the hummingbirds, just adorable. It's an etching from the 1860s, and it's hand tinted. And there was some information on the back that told what kind of birds they were and who the printer was and stuff like that. So I paid $25 for the 2 prints, so $12.50 for this one, and it sold for $49. One bid. The other one I have up on Etsy. And moving along to my Etsy sales, I sold this antique book. It's Principles of Sociology by Herbert Spencer. It is a well-known book, but mostly I just got it because it was pretty, had a nice leather binding, and I paid, let's see, $10 for this book. I think I got it at an estate sale. I can't remember now. Might have been the flea market. But anyway, I sold it for $75. And this was on a recent haul video. This is a seed bead necklace that I believe to be from the 1920s. I think it's a flapper necklace. It had this beautiful, doesn't really show very well in this picture, but it's like a hand-blown glass, pearly kind of little thing right here. I got that off a $2 table, and it sold for $34. And, oops. This I got from my mother-in-law, so I paid nothing for this. I just wanted to show you this because this had a crack in it, but I sold it anyway. And I just put a lower price on it, like probably, maybe 50 to 75% of what it might have sold without the crack. And so I sold it for $25. And this color is really popular, and anything that has that sort of Art Deco streamlined shape. This got so many hits and likes, but You know, not everyone will buy something with a crack, so it took a little while to sell. And this, just so charming, it is a game board that is hidden behind a painting. And I could just only imagine that maybe, you know, it was hidden for a reason, the game board. I just thought it must have an interesting story behind it. This is a toll painting. It's rather dark, probably has tobacco or nicotine staining on it. But anyway, I did pay $20 for this at the flea market because I just fell in love with it. But I did sell it for $75. I had to sit on it for a little while, but it did sell. And this is a Weiss butterfly rhinestone pin or brooch. They call this fruit salad when it's all these different colors together, and it's very popular, I think partly because it just photographs so beautifully. You see a lot of Weiss with the clear rhinestones, but the ones with the colored rhinestones are more desirable. I paid $12 for that. I don't remember where I got it, probably the flea market, and I sold it for $58. And this was also on a recent haul video. You may not even seen it yet because I'm behind on posting my haul videos. But anyway, I got this at the flea market for $5. It just had beautiful gilt paint on it. It's a very mid-century looking sort of bird design. I just thought it was very, very pretty. It's HBK Quaren... I don't know how you say it. Quaregna? Forget it. From Belgium. Hand-painted. Really beautiful. I found out that these don't sell for a whole lot. I saw them selling for as little as $10 or $11, and some of them around $18 to $25. But by golly, I just thought it was worth more than that because it was so pretty. So I listed it for $34 and I sold it. And it didn't even take that long. So sometimes you just got to go with your gut. I sold this cute French coin charm bracelet. I love the vintage souvenirs. I do very well with them. This was mounted on its original card. Let's see if I can show it. It had this little card that came with it. Very, very cute. Very mid-century, 1950s. I did pay up for this. I paid $15 for that and sold it for $36. So, you know, maybe if you can find it for a lower price, you can make a better profit. And this I got at the flea market, and I paid $12 for this. It's a silver-plated elephant trunk coat hook. Very cute for a child's room. Probably 1920s, 1930s maybe. Paid $12 for it, sold it for $32. That also got so many hits and so many likes. And I sold another lacquer box. I can't get enough of these. I buy them whenever I see them for a good price, especially if they look like they have a bit of age on them. And if they're colorful, have unusual subject matter. This one was from Kashmir. It just had a really neat look to it. There's the inside of it. It just, you know, you could tell it was not brand new. And I paid $2 for that, and I sold it for $31. And this is a Victorian style egg-shaped locket. Let's see if I can show it open. There it is. It's got this stamp in it that says 925, and it also has this bail that's like etched and scalloped. And I see these a lot, which is how I know that they're not really Victorian. They are not new. I think they're from the 1970s. But there's just, they have a certain look about them. They're still desirable, and you know, of course, I'm very transparent in the listing. I say it's from the 1970s. I say it's Victorian style. It is, you know, sterling silver. It's very nicely made. It's handmade. So I still buy them when I see them if I can find them at a good price. This one I paid $10 for and sold it for $38. And I got it at the flea market. These are some Murano wedding cake beads. That's the, they have this sort of applied, drizzled look to them. And anytime you can find the Murano glass beads, especially the cane glass ones, snatch them up because they sell really well. Any art glass beads actually sell pretty well. I did not pay anything for these. They came from my sister-in-law, and I sold them for $38. And this is a Native American Zuni channel inlaid ring. It's turquoise in a butterfly shape. I really like this because the butterfly wings moved a little bit. They were on little hinges. That I paid $15 for, and I sold it for $52. Always do well with the Native American jewelry. I buy it as much as I can buy at a good price because it always sells. This is just some very old industrial looking hardware. This kind of grungy looking stuff sells really well. These were pretty large. Let's see if I have a picture that shows the size. There they are in my hand. You can see they're quite large. They have the kind of chippy paint on them. And those I paid $5 for and sold them for $24. And this copper bowl, if you find bowls like this with this round bottom, those are very desirable. They're called egg white whisking bowls, and serious chefs really like these nice old copper bowls. It's an especially good thing if you can find them made in England or made in France is even better. This one I got at the flea market. I paid up on it. I paid $20 for it because I knew it was a nice one. And I did sell it for $49. I had another one that was a bit larger made in France that I think I sold for $70 something. So they do sell well. And I wanted to show an example of Trifari jewelry. Seems like I've been doing pretty well with the Trifari and Coro lately. And it seems like the prices maybe are going up a little bit on those. This one is a nice modernist zigzag style bracelet with the rhinestones. And that was from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $28. The bigger, the showier, the chunkier it is, the better it will do. And of course the condition is important. And this is a bolo. This is a Tabra, T-A-B-R-A. Is the artist that make these. They're from the 1980s. There may be more modern ones, I'm not sure. But I think that she first came to notoriety in the 1980s. This is the second one of these I've sold. The first one was a pair of earrings, and that sold for $100 and something, like $125. So I definitely kept my eyes open. And this pin I got... not sure where I got this. Maybe at the flea market. Maybe at the antique mall. But I only paid $3 for it, and it sold for $85. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I did sit on it for a while, but it eventually sold. I continue to do well with these enamel on copper pieces. Mostly I sell the brooches, and usually they sell in the $16, $18 range just for the kind of more ordinary ones. But this was a really spectacular looking pendant. It was very large. It was red. It had this sculptural thing. It was kidney shaped. Just had a lot going for it. Very mid-century. It came from my sister-in-law, so I did not pay anything for it, and I sold it for $30. And this is a Japanese mixed metal repoussé plate with these waiting cranes on it. Now, I got this at the flea market, and you can tell it's pretty gnarly. The finish is really, it's got a lot of oxidation on it. But I just thought that the metal work was really extraordinary. This just got beautiful, beautiful detail on it. Just, I mean, look at the fine detail on those flowers. Just really beautiful. And there's even a design on the back. You just gotta love that attention to detail. I paid $7 for this at the flea market, and I sold it for $48. And here is another copper piece. It actually used to be silver plate, but now it's copper. It's an Art Deco vase with a great looking rose on it. And let's see, this, I paid $8 for this at the flea market. A second. And that sold for $28. It has a mark on the bottom that's this little sailboat, and I found out that that is a Japanese company. And next up is this Hallmark gold-plated watch. I got this at the flea market. I paid $5 for it, and it sold for $35. It did run, it kept time, it was in reasonably good cosmetic shape, it had a good Art Deco look to it, even though Hallmark is not a particularly famous brand, so it did okay. And this is a clock that I got from my mother-in-law. It's very Hollywood Regency, kind of over the top with these dolphins and very fancy. It is made by the Zervith company, which is pretty rare. I couldn't find hardly any other examples out there. It's in West Germany, 1950s. It was running, it kept time, and I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $72. And this is a buckle with a matching dress clip that came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that. And I sold this for $35. Very Art Deco with the rhinestones and the green beads. And the lady who bought it left me a sweet note. She said, "I have no need of this, but it's so beautiful. I have to have it, and I'm going to design a dress around it." So in a little while, I'm going to contact her and see if she's done that. I would love to see what kind of dress she designed. This is a very large, very heavy glass paperweight with a image of a jellyfish in it. And I got that at a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $28. And this is a pewter souvenir cup. I love my souvenirs. This dates to the early 1900s. It's from Colorado. I paid $2 for it at the flea market, and it sold for $19. And this is a silver-plated, I think, torque necklace. This is something that I didn't know, or maybe I did know and forgot. But anyway, a torque necklace is one of these, it's like a stiff necklace that you bend out to put around your neck, and then it springs back into place to stay on. And this one had no markings on it at all. It was silver plate. And I just thought it was beautiful. Came from my sister-in-law. Paid nothing for that. No, I take it back. I got that on a dollar table. So I paid $1 for that. And I sold it for $55. And this is a silver, sterling silver, Mexican silver, ponytail holder with abalone shell inlay. It's if you were around in the 70s, you might remember these. That's a style that was very popular then. You would put it around your ponytail, and you would put this pick through the holes to hold it in place. And when I bought this, it was missing the chain, but I replaced the chain, and I paid $5 for this. It had a lot of silver in it, so I figured it was worth fixing. And I sold that for $55 also. And this is an unsigned Brooches mid-century modern copper necklace. Brooches is a good designer to look for. Most pieces are marked. This one, I identified it because it was the exact identical to a known piece. It's kind of a famous piece of his. And that came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $38. I think if it was marked, I probably could have sold it for more. And this is an Art Nouveau baby mirror. It was once silver-plated. It's now brass. It's got a great image of a lady head with the flowing hair and the flowers. Very nice Art Nouveau imagery from the early 20th century. And I bought that at the flea market for $3 and sold it for $26. And this is an art glass vase that had a very messy signature on the bottom. It took me forever to figure out who the artist was. But it's Amy Noel. Oh good, Muffin's here. Amy Noel, who is known, not terribly famous, but I did find a few examples of her work. I paid $10 for this at the flea market, which is, quite a bit, and I put a price tag of $32 on it. And I did have someone contact me wanting to know if I would lower the price, and it was the same day I'd listed it, so I wasn't ready to lower the price, so I thanked her for her offer and said that, if I hadn't sold it in a few weeks that I would be more flexible. And she went ahead and bought it at full price, so that was a good news. And the last thing I have to show you is this marine compass that I got at the flea market. It's brass, and it's in this really pretty wooden box, and it is working, and I paid $20 for that, and I sold it for $62. And since that sold so quickly and so well, at the last flea market I bought a marine barometer. It was kind of similar, not in as pretty a box. I also paid $20 for it, got it home and realized it doesn't work. So it is really nice looking though, so I'm hoping that I can at least make some profit on it. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it and comment, because I love to get comments and I try to respond to all. And I will see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.